Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Scrap Chat. This is my question and answer series where I get to reply to people who have left comments on either YouTube or different social media outlets. So I have a list of questions here that have come in over the past little while, and I'm going to just get to them right now. So the first one is a couple of people, actually, Danielle4 on Instagram, and also Shell BB has asked me, and a few others actually, I got quite a few questions about the milk paints that are on my embellishment center, right directly behind my hair. So there you go. So see those right there? Those. So I posted a picture on Instagram and it included my embellishment center and you could see those all lined up. So I have a bottle of milk paint right here to show you guys what these are. These are powdered paints and they're creamy. When you mix them up, they have a creamy consistency to them. You mix them 1-to-1 with water. So you take a scoop of paint and a scoop of water and you just mix it up. I mix them in these little these little disposable containers that you can get. I just bought them on eBay. We get them for our kids' lunches for putting salad dressing and that sort of thing. So I just mix it in that with a little bit of water. I always keep a water bottle here in my scrap room, and I just kind of give it a shake, and then I use it for dropping driplets, kind of like I do with mist, but you can also paint things with it. They're really nice to paint wood veneer and chipboard and that sort of thing. So I have my favorite one here, which is this nice creamy yellow color. It's made by Imaginess, which like the rest of the world is owned by American Crafts, according to this little label here. And yeah, that you get quite a lot. And the nice thing about these paints is that they are powder. So you can see the powder in the container. And that means that you can mix up as much or as little as you like. And I mix up just like the tiniest little bit. I'll show you some that I have already mixed up just right here. So I was using some the other day. Let me see if I have the sample piece. It was here somewhere. I'm not going to be able to get my hands on the sample. Yes, I am. So I mixed up some black the other day. These are the little containers that I told you about that I mix it up in. So I just put a tiny little scoop of paint and then a dribble of water in there, and I shake it up really good. And then I just use my paintbrush to drip some dribbles on it. And now the thing to keep in mind when you're using this kind of paint is you'll notice that on this really large drop right there, when I ran my finger over it, it did smudge a little bit. So these paints are like they're real milk paints, and so they're a little bit dusty and they have like a chalky kind of substance to them, but they're really beautiful. As you can see, it's a really nice way to get dribbles all over your project if you're looking for a dribbled look. But they're also really good for painting. So I'm going to do a little demo with them in the next little bit, probably tomorrow. Today is Sunday, so I'm going to hope to get that done by tomorrow. So look for that on my channel. So thanks for your questions, everybody. I will do that demonstration so you can see exactly what they look like and how they work. They are really difficult for stirring. One thing, I was quite disappointed when I bought them and first mixed them up, and I tried to stir them in a little teacup, and you just kind of stir and stir and stir and stir and stir, and the powder just won't mix in with the water. And so that's why the shaking strategy really works extremely well. They mix up in no time at all, but if you're trying to stir them, you might get frustrated. So I would have a plan for how you're going to mix these up before you buy them, because yeah, I would get frustrated if I had to stir them. So that's that question. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was these snap, what are they called? Photo flips. I have them in 4x6 and 3x4 size, and I used these on a recent pocket scrapbook layout. So here's my page, and here's the flap right here. And on it, I showed you guys how you can see this, you can see the strip right here where it's attached. And what I forgot to say, and I meant to talk about this, is that you can actually adhere these so that you can't see that strip. And I'll tell you why I didn't on this in this case. But first I'll show you what I'm talking about. So they come like this, and they have a little pocket opening. They have a little pocket opening like that and a little adhesive strip right here. And this adhesive the backing comes off to leave just the adhesive. And so, what was her name? Somebody, Cassandra, gave me this tip on applying these so that you can't see that strip. So what you could do is you could apply this. Hang on a second. I will just grab a Project Life card that I have here. This is just a little card that I made a long time ago. And I will show you how. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in the pocket like that. And now, oops, I did it backwards. So I put it in the pocket like this. Now she doesn't use the Snap. Cassandra doesn't use the Snap brand. She uses the Close to My Heart brand. And so what you could do is you could put this on so that this strip is covered, kind of like that. Can you see that? And so in order to do that, you would adhere it this way, kind of upside down. And then you would let this fall down like that. What I found when I used this in this case right here, when I tried to do it that way, it didn't sit very flat. It kind of it sat kind of stuck up in the air, as you can kind of see with this, right? Like you can see how it's not going to sit flat. And maybe it would over time, it would sit a little bit more flat, but it's, yeah, it's sort of going to pop up like that. And maybe it's nice to have it pop up like that because, you know, you get to see the person who's looking at it will definitely notice that it's an interactive element and that you can flip it up. But I just didn't want it to do that in this case. And another challenge that I had, and this was what I was thinking was the reason that it wasn't working, is that the back side of this is very dimensional. It has this big, thick acrylic piece in it. And so I thought that that was keeping it from sitting flat. But it looks like even with this kind of a flat card, this brand is going to flip up. See how it just kind of stays like that? So I think what I would prefer to do is to attach it like this and have it hang flat, and then you can just flip it up if you want to. And yeah, you can see the strip a little bit. If you look really hard, you can see where that strip is, but it is see-through and it doesn't, you know, when you look at a Project Life page or a Pocket Scrapbook page, there's a lot to take in, and I find that it's pretty forgiving for mistakes and that sort of thing. So anyhow, I just wanted to let you guys know that you might want to play around with some different ways of attaching these other than the way that I did. If you don't want to see that strip. And I'm guessing that the Close to My Heart ones might be made differently. Like they might be made so that you can kind of fold it. And I mean, you know, the more I kind of play around with it, I'm just kind of using my fingernail to score it a little bit, and it's getting more and more bent, and it might sit flat if you played around with it enough, but I just didn't, so I attached it the other way. So thanks for the tip, Cassandra. I think that people will find that really helpful, especially if they're using the Close to My Heart brand of that product instead of the Snap brand, or even if they're using either. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was the fact that I spent this weekend updating my YouTube channel. So I don't know how many people visit my channel as a channel versus just going when they see that, when they get an email notification that I have new videos out. But I did spend a fair amount of time this weekend updating my YouTube channel so that all of my playlists are entirely complete. There's one or two playlists that I might have missed one or two videos, but for the most part, they're all complete. So if you click on my process video, so when you go to my channel, you'll see kind of what to watch next, and then you'll see recent upload, like all of my uploads, and you just kind of use the little arrow at the edge there to keep on scrolling through, and you'll see all of my videos that way. And then you'll see all of my playlists underneath of that in horizontal strips. One playlist is all of my process videos, and every single process video is in there. There are 250 of them at the time of this recording, so that's a lot, and they're all in there. And then all of my pocket pages are in the pocket pocket scrapbooking playlist. I have a playlist for scrapchat, so all of the scrapchat videos should be in there. And there's one for Fab Find Fridays, and basically everything that I do on a regular basis, there's a playlist for it. So I could include 9 playlists along with my uploads. So there are 9 different playlists in there. I put, people have been asking me about my unboxing or kit share videos, and I am still doing those, and you will find those. You'll find a new one sometime any day now. Whenever my kit arrives, I'll do a share video for that. And what I did was I made a playlist called Kit Videos, and it includes the kit shares as well as the Out with the Old. And I know a lot of people have been asking me to go back to doing the Out with the Old, and I will be doing that. So watch for that this month. You'll see an Out with the Old for I guess, well, we're into April now, so that'll be for March. So you'll see an Out with the Old for March, and then you'll see the new April kit share video as well. So there's that. I also updated my blog, and so if you go to my blog, you will see most of my recent videos. What I've done is it's up to date for all of the layouts that I've done since the summer of last year. And so everything through, last fall and through the winter is all on my blog. And what I'm planning to do from this point forward is just always put the photos and the video for whatever layout I'm doing will always be on my blog as well as on my YouTube channel. And that way, if you ever need to find something that I've done, you can always go to mercytiara.com and find it there. Because sometimes, I tried to make my YouTube channel as easily navigatable as possible. Is that even a word? As easy to navigate as possible. But it's still not perfect. Like, I think there's challenges to having a blog and challenges to having a YouTube channel, and I haven't quite been able to figure out how to make either work for me entirely. So I am still keeping my blog. I know that not everybody reads blogs anymore, but what I thought I could do is kind of use my blog as being kind of like my hub, kind of like this is my home, this is where everything is, and then the YouTube channel and the Instagram and everything can kind of come off of that. And so if you ever, if I ever have any cut files or resources, people look for my layout sheets, for example, you'll find this on my blog. And so, yeah. Anyways, my blog is tagged, and it might be at some point easier to search than my YouTube channel. So anyways, I'm going to keep them both going for a while. I really thought hard about just abandoning my blog or kind of using it more as like a static website and not as a currently being updated type of a blog, as a regularly updated blog, but I've decided to give it another go. So we'll see how that works. Okay. My list is on my iPad, so I have to open it up every time. Okay, so what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I got a lot of questions about my crop bags, so I have them over here, so I will show them to you guys. This is the one that I think I got a lot of questions on. Isn't it pretty? It is a shoulder bag, which is awesome for carrying, and it fits 12 by 12 papers, and I put my kits. So if you watched my packing for a crop video that I had recently, my kits were in this big section here, and then I put different papers and stuff in these, and I bought some papers while I was out, so I have those in there. And then I always put my thickers, and I haven't unpacked my thickers yet. I just left it partially packed just for the purposes of this video, but I put my letter stickers in the very, very back. And what I really like about this is that it's thin and it's the perfect size for paper, and I love that you can carry it over your shoulder. So I carried it like this, and then I wheeled my wheelie cart, my wheelie one, like this, and I had my purse, and it was just really easy to navigate. So people were asking me about this one. Oh, the other thing about this is that you can make it bigger by unzipping this little accordion zipper here, and it makes the whole thing kind of open up and be a lot more thick. But I never do that because I try to pack fairly light. So I fit 2 Scraptastic kits and their add-ons in this, and some extra papers and all these extra letter stickers, as you saw. They all fit in this without opening the accordion side. So the other nice thing that I like about this, it is by Everything Mary, by the way. So somebody on my YouTube channel thought that that's who made this, and you were right. I'm just going to put it a little bit closer so you can get a look at that logo. Oops, sorry, that was probably really loud. But that's what it looks like. Everything Mary. So the other thing I'll show you is how it opens, the front little pouch. So the front little pouch opens like this, and there's a place to put some markers right here. And then it comes with these 2 little embellishment packages that sink right in. So there's kind of like, it feels like it might be cardboard or plastic or something that's molded around here, so that these are sunken in and they don't take up extra space and they don't make this really big and bulky. It still fits really nicely under your arm, even though it has room for these 2 things. And I just put my dimensional embellishments right inside of this, and I used both of them for the crop that I just went to, but when I usually go just over to a friend's place for an evening of scrapping, I'll just usually bring stuff in one of them. So that's this, and somebody on my YouTube channel said that you can find this at scrapbook.com. It's not where I bought mine because their shipping is so expensive for Canada. Where I found mine was at the art store here in Canada called Desserts. It's sort of I think it's a chain. I don't know if it's all across Canada or if it's just from Quebec East. It's a Quebec store. And yeah, so anyhow, we used to have a local art store and Desserts sort of bought it out, so I'm guessing that it's a big box store, but it's got a quirky little scrapbooking section, and they have all kinds of really, really nice art totes that are different than what we scrapbookers usually bring. But I've been meaning, if I ever replace this puppy, I'm gonna get one at Desserts because they've got some really cool looking ones for different art supplies that I think might be fun to, you know, use for scrapbooking. So I'll tell you where this one came from. A lot of you guys will recognize this from Michael's. I got it when it was, I think, 80% off and I was a new scrapbooker, and even at 80% off, it was still like $30 or something. So, or 20, which was a lot for me because I was just starting off at scrapbooking. But I'm really glad that I bought it because it has this, it's fabric, but it has this plastic coating all over it, which means that you can wipe it down. And I've kept this in my back room in my unfinished basement, and I have had to wipe it down several times, so I'm glad that it's wipeable. It's not the sturdiest thing in the world. I have my phone number on that thing, so I'm just gonna move it. Like, it's not all that well made. Like, I don't think it would handle a ton of use. Just looking at it, it's kind of like this plasticky stuff that will probably rip if you used it. I never use these pockets, but you know, it does the trick, and it hasn't ripped on me yet. I'm waiting for it to rip, but it hasn't ripped yet. And yeah, they had it in green and pink and black when I was at my Michael's anyways. And so I bought the black one. And then the other thing that I have that I just wanted, I got a couple of questions about what are these little envelopes that I use, and I brought these empty to put my completed layouts in. And they are by Recollections. I just kept the packaging from it, coincidentally. So they are called, well, they are called, whack myself in the face with it, Memory Keepers. Perfect for storing 12 by 12 inch papers. And I think 10 of them came in a pack. So I keep those, and then the other thing that I sometimes use is these Studio Calico bags, which I hate. I bought a package of them, and the zippers invariably break. So, but they're good sturdy bags. Like, the plastic on them is good, and I like that it has a handle. But these zippers always split. So the zipper right there, it always splits. And then, what else do I have in here? So I really find that, like, instead, I will never buy these again. I have them, and so I'm going to keep on using them. But if I knew then what I know now, I would just use the Scraptastic, the 12 by, or they're not 12 by 12, but the bags that the 12 by 12 papers come in for the Scraptastic kits. I'd just use those because they work just as well. They're not quite as heavy duty, but they're free, and you keep getting them every month, so you might as well use them for something, right? So anyhow, those are my crop bags. Next question. So Lily Scraps would like to know if I scrapbook from my stash. And yes, I do. About once a month or so, I try at least once a month to do a layout that isn't from a kit, because I have a sizable stash, as you guys can see here behind me, and a lot of my stash is actually leftovers from kits and older supplies from before I belonged to kit clubs. And I also, every once in a while, I'll just buy something, even though I know I have kits coming in every month. When I fall in love with something, like the I Am collection from Simple Stories, for example, is something that I just felt like I needed to have it because I just love it so much. And so I do have some things like that. I also have the basic gray Grand Bazaar collection, which I haven't used a whole lot of yet. So yes, I have a sizable stash. I try to scrapbook from it, but I do find that belonging to a kit club really keeps me always with fresh new supplies, and I always prefer to use fresh new supplies over old supplies. So the majority of my scrapbooking, as you guys have probably noticed, does come from my Scraptastic Kit Club kits. About once a month, I do try to make a layout from my stash. I think I call it Scrap Outside the Kit, kind of like think outside the box. And it's not really, I don't think I put it in the title of my videos, so it might be hard for you to find those layouts, but look for about one a month, and I'll try to do a better job of designating those so that you guys can find them. Maybe I needed to title them something different so that you can see the stash layouts versus the kit club layouts. So I mean, that's one of the benefits of scrapbooking from a kit club, is that you've always got new supplies coming in every month, and so you know you don't really have to shop outside of your kit club unless if you're a heavy, you know, a high volume scrapper. Okay, so somebody on, I think, YouTube, somebody asked me about my little Instax printer. Her name was Mariamo214. I hope I didn't say your name wrong, but she is asking me about this Instax printer, which I show in a video around Christmas time. This is my favorite Christmas present. And she wants to know what's the difference between this and the Selfie. I don't have a Selfie, but I do have the PictureMate Charm, which is kind of the similar, it's basically the main competition for the Selfie. And so, the cords, I just checked the cords before I started recording this, and it's too, I can't show it to you guys, but it is almost time to replace the cartridge, and I've been telling people that I would show them how that works, so I will videotape that soon. But basically, you can't compare the two of them. If you're thinking about getting a Selfie, go ahead and get a Selfie, or the PictureMate Charm or whatever, because it's very different from this. They're not comparable at all. So the PictureMate Charm, I'm just gonna get it for you guys. Okay, so this is my Epson PictureMate Charm. Normally, it looks like this, and this, and this. So this is how it sits on my desk. The paper, I better not drop it or I'm gonna die. The paper goes right in here, like that. And the ink cartridge goes right in this spot in the back here. You just kind of press this and hang on, let me see. The ink cartridge is right in there. Okay. You can print on this by putting in your little memory card there, which I never do, because what I do is I just print from my computer. So, and I can also print wirelessly from my phone. but you need to set up something on your computer in order to do that, and I don't know what it is, so I can't help you. This is it's technically portable, but I wouldn't bring it anywhere. It has a handle and stuff, so, you know, you could. Yeah, I guess you could bring it someplace if you were going to a crop or whatever. So I'm going to just put it back. I'll plug it in a few minutes. So it is a 4x6 printer, and it prints beautiful photos. So here's an example of a photo that Scott took in New York City. Look at how beautiful it is. And I have compared the prints from this photo with prints that I got developed at Costco and at other photo supply places, and they're very, very good. In most cases, the prints from this photo were better than the prints from a place like Walmart or Costco and that sort of thing. I think that if this print doesn't look good, it's because the webcam is not good. This is very, very crisp. I can see every detail of it. Like, it's very crisp. It's looking blurry on the camera right now, but it's actually quite crisp. So very nice quality photos. They're actually also waterproof, which means if you get a bit of mist on it, you can just wipe it off, which is kind of nice. So these are the prints that come from this printer. They're like a tiny little Polaroid. So this is a novelty printer. You're not going to get the same quality at all from this kind of a photo as you do from this kind of a printer. So they're extremely different. They're extremely different sizes. This one is it's 3.5 by 2, a little bit more than 2. 3.5 by 2, including the, outline of it. The whole print is 3 by 2, 3.5 by 2, and the photo itself is 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I showed you guys how this printer will print from your iPhone. You can take a photo and edit it and make it as nice as you like, take as many pictures as you like, and pick the best one that comes out and print it using this printer onto this. And I showed you that in another video. I'll link the information. I'll link it in the information section for this one so you can have a look at it. I believe I printed up some photos in that video, so I'll show you that. And it's definitely a novelty printer. It's not, you don't want to scrapbook your family memories and traditions and important stuff with this kind of a photo, because it is a Polaroid photo and they're not quite as good as the other ones. Just not as good quality, and I'm not sure how long they last and that sort of thing. They last a long time. I had my Instax camera for a good 3 years, and all my photos in my project life from that camera are all fine. But maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, they might not be. So, all right. So that's the Instax versus the Selfie, and I don't have a Selfie, so that's actually the Instax versus the Epson PictureMate Charm. The PictureMate Charm and the Selfie are not exactly the same camera, or not exactly the same printer, but they both are 4x6 printers. They're both very good quality. They both cost around the same. They both cost around the same for printing per print and that sort of thing. So definitely, if you're thinking about the Selfie, check out the PictureMate and see if it's I think they're both equivalent. I don't think there's a huge difference between the two of them, although somebody might think otherwise, so do some research. All right. The other thing that I wanted to say was I just wanted to take a minute and give a little bit of a shout out or a thank you, I guess, to everybody who shared their thoughts about breaking the stigma that comes along with anxiety disorders. In a recent video, I actually talked a lot more about anxiety than I planned to. My daughter suffers from anxiety, and I just kind of went on and on about it. But as a result of that, there were a lot of really sweet comments and people who shared their own experiences with anxiety disorders, or, gave me a couple of words words of encouragement to pass on to Sophie or whatever. And so that was just, I just wanted to say that that was really, really kind and sweet of you guys to do that and to share with me your stories. Some of you did so privately and some of you did so on my channel. So thank you for that. And then Lorraine Lawson wanted to know how I decide which photos to take with me to the crop. Well, there's an ideal answer and then there's the real answer. So I'll give you the real answer first. I ran out of time packing for this crop and I ended up hopping onto my computer about 10 minutes before I was supposed to leave for the crop and just randomly printing out a whole bunch of photos. And here they are right here. And also the ones that I used at the crop. So that's how many I took. I'll count them and tell you. So I printed up 25 photos, which really was just me not being able to edit. I was just so rushed that I just selected a whole bunch and printed them and grabbed them and left. Like I was literally grabbing them as I was leaving. And then I also brought my Instax camera, which meant that I could print these little photos off of my camera. So anything that was on my camera, including pictures that I took at the crop, I could scrapbook at the crop using this. So that was a good option to have. So that really meant that I didn't have to worry about printing up any informal, fun kind of photos that weren't like for these ones. I want these ones printed up nice because that's a nice photo. I've already scrapbooked this, but I thought I might want to scrapbook it again. Because I have lots of stories to tell about New York City, and this is a beautiful photo, and so I will sometimes scrapbook the same photo twice, just if I love it that much. So what was I talking about again? How do I pick which photo? So yes, the real answer is I just picked a whole bunch, and I was thinking about a couple of things. I was looking for photos that had yellow in them because yellow was a prominent feature in the kit that I brought, and I really mostly scrapbook recent photos. So I just looked through my photo stream and then I knew that there was this one with yellow in it. So I also went into my New York folder and picked out, and when I was looking at this, I also found this and the Brooklyn Bridge one and a couple of other things. So that's how I did it. But normally I wouldn't take that many pictures because normally, or maybe I would, I don't really know. I don't overthink it, to be honest with you. How would I decide which photos to take with me to a crop? I mean, I guess what I would rather have more photos than I need. So I would probably, you know, just grab a whole bunch and go. And because I do almost exclusively current scrapbooking, I'm just looking in the past 2 months' photo streams. And then, as I said, I just went into the New York pictures because I knew there was that yellow one in there that I might have wanted to use with the Good Day Sunshine kit. Yeah, so I guess I kind of think about the color of the kits that I have, and I also think about what stories I want to tell, and I think about, you know, just what photos I've taken in the past little bit. That's how I decide. But there might be other people who have a way better way of deciding, because that's kind of a lame answer, I'm realizing as I said it. So if you guys have any ideas, any wisdom to impart to Lorraine Lawson, and myself, we would really appreciate. So just leave me a comment here, letting me know how you decide which photos to bring to a crop. Then there's somebody named Chingaling to You. That's a cute name, who said she's never been to a crop and wanted to know if there was enough space and if I took pictures at the crop. And yes, I did take pictures at the crop. Oops, I just closed my note. So I would like to show you some of the pictures that I took at the crop, just to show you how much space there was. Now, it depends, of course, on which crop you go to and who's organizing it and that sort of thing. And I think even with Crop and Create, it's in a different place each time. So it might be different at the Beau Séjour Moncton than it is in some of the other places. But I just want to show you this. So, is that the nicest one? Oh, there's some people looking. Oh, there, everybody's looking. I want to get like the nicest picture. All right. So there's the photo of the table, and you'll notice that there is lots of room there. It's really deep, like it's wide this way. So there's room for you to do your scrapbooking and room for you to put your crud. I almost said a bad word there. For you to put your stuff right there in front. So, you know, it's very deep and there's lots and lots of space. You can get a sense by the size of the people there. And there's an even better angle that shows all the stuff on the table. And yeah, it's brighter on that one because I brightened it up a bit with my Instagram. But yeah, so I'll show you another shot of the table if I have one. There. So this shot includes some of my workspace here, and then Tina's workspace. She had all of her mixed media stuff there, and there's quite a lot of space. You can't quite tell from this photo, but there's quite a lot of space between where her mixed media stuff is stashed and that blue work surface that she's using. So there's quite a lot of space there that she's actually not even using. Oh, and they also have this really cool photo booth that they set up, and you can dress yourself up crazy and take pictures, selfies, and look at my friend Stephanie. She's so fun. And then there we are. So yeah, it's fun, and that's not what you asked me about, but yeah, I just wanted to say that too.